What you got there then?
Well, I was just looking this and, well, see for yourself.
Drivers are fuming. What are they fuming for?
Because they're going to introduce an extra daily charge in London for most polluting
Oh, hold on. You know when you drive down to London?
of £10 a day.
But they already charge you £5 to go into central London anyway.
Yeah, that's the congestion charge. But they've come up with an even better plan. We'll do it a daily charge for most polluting. Add that to the congestion charge as well. We'll rip them off even further.
So it's now £15 to get into London.
Well, I would assume so.
Do you know when you come down the motorway, when most people are going on holidays, if they go to Heathrow, you drive down the M1 and there's these huge signs and it says low emission zone. They've got 19 airports, haven't they?
I just read this.
Low emission zone?
The government. Hang on, let me put my glasses on.
Your mind controllers.
The government hasn't listened so far to drivers. It needs to start doing so or it will lose the support of an entire section of society. The government never listens.
They don't give a shit
Dear,
about
oh
you.
dear. Their puppet masters control everything. They're the ones that decide what goes on.
I was going to do this. Puppet masters. Puppet masters.
Actually, if you lost the beard and that,
Yeah.
and took the glasses off, you could be that bad guy in is it Thunderbirds or Stingray, something like that.
The Hood. I remember those when I was a kid. Anyway, so basically this is going to be an extra charge in London for polluting.
Yep.
So every car that's going to go into London is now going to be lining all the politicians' pockets in Parliament. Along with the Queen, because she'll get a big chunk of it as well, won't you?
What?
Won't she?
Well, look, how are you going to afford their increased wages every year? An increased, well, it's benefits basically, but you know.
What good is charging somebody an extra 10 quid or £15, excuse me, to go into a city? What good is that going to do to stop pollution?
There was a video I put out a month.
Do you think nobody's, sorry, do you think nobody's going to go into London at all?
Video I put about a month or two back, where it was talking about this and how it's all explains to it, and they have to keep finding new taxes to keep you just under the you know, survival mode, basically.
Behave like the good slave that you are.
And every time you start getting a little bit too much, they'll introduce a new tax to drag it back down again, because they don't want you being happy. They don't want you being able to afford things. What they want is a dictatorship and compliant slaves.
Anyway, you know, the other day we made a video talking about Kanye West, and I was noticing some of the negative comments. And a lot of people don't actually think
on our
it's
video
him.
or on his video?
On our video.
Okay.
But you've got the link, haven't you? If anybody wants to watch the Kanye West
that's
video,
it. Now I've got to do more work.
the editor just paste the link in the description at the bottom. You can have a look at it. It's quite interesting. 20 or 30 minutes, and it's for some American news network, and there's these two guys interviewing him. And he literally stops speaking to the camera at the front and turns behind, and there's all the reporters, people on computers, and they have to get a guy with a camera to come round. But basically he said slavery is a choice. Now I actually believe that it is the same Kanye West, but watching that video has changed my mind about him. Do you know why?
Because it would seem he's starting to figure things out.
He's doing this, isn't he? He's lifting the so-called veil of forgetting which we give ourselves as a unique filter at birth, in order so you don't recall who you are. But if you do question who am I, why am I here, and what do I want, you can lift the veil of forgetting and you get these answers. So, yeah, black folks for 400 years, slaves. And he said, it's got to have been a choice. And I was thinking about it. I know it's offended somebody, and he did offend some guy in the studio, and he goes and gives him a hug at the end of the thing and tells him he loves him. He said, because all that we need is love. And I agree with that. But yeah, but the black people for 400 years, it's like they put up with slavery. Yes, massa, no massa, 3 bags full massa. And just did as they were told. Apparently, when you break the veil of forgetting and you realise that you do choose your parents before birth, and you do choose the experience with free will, metaphysics teaches
now
us
you
this.
know that there's going to be those out there saying, what, if I chose my parents, I wouldn't have chose these parents.
Well, you don't recall because of the veil of forgetting. But we're all actually one. And the big picture tells us that every other person on this planet is another version of you. And Kanye West, he says to black, who gave me that label? He says, I don't use symbols anymore. He told me I was black. And then he said he loved Donald Trump, but he didn't like what he did. Same as I love the Queen, I don't like what she does and raping children and stuff. Why would you not want to love yourself? But yeah, black people, 400 years and you didn't say no? Was it like the Jews that were being taken to the gas chambers?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And they were all suited and booted, ties on, holding the badges, holding the briefcases with the badges on and stuff. And the SS come and they went, yes, massa, no, massa, 3 bags full, massa. And didn't say no. What, for 400 years the black folks didn't say, no, I've had enough of this?
I don't think the Jews would have spoke like that.
Well, you know what I mean. I'm comparing, you know, other people that could have said no. I mean, how many 100,000 Gestapo or SS were they in the Second World War? But there were 6 million Jews that sent to their deaths.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And black people, excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat, ribbit. And black people, for 400 years, they didn't say, no, I think we've had enough of this. You know, he might have a point. I mean, I don't mean any ill will, harm, loss to anybody. I've been black and Chinese and female in 2 previous lives before, so how could I be racist or even sexist? But yeah, it's very interesting. Did we actually choose the experience pre-birth?
Of course we did.
I know a lot of you are going to be against this, but you've got your own point of view. Don't believe a word we say.
The way I see it is you're here to learn.
It's like a learning ground, isn't it?
Yeah, to not
Training
be, to
ground.
not be a dick. Unfortunately, there are many dicks out there, and some of them are much very bigger dicks.
Well, speaking of slavery, Kanye, and my good friend from the KaK M Show, we're still slaves now.
Yeah.
If you pay any form of tax whatsoever, you pay your TV licence, you send your kids to school, you pay for water.
You allow your kids to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
Knowing that if you do the slightest bit of research into that,
Obey your counsel.
you'll find out that
Obey
there are
the
all
government.
toxic poisons in them vaccines. In fact, one doctor's come out and said they contain cancer-spreading enzymes in them.
Oh, great! I'll have a bag of that, please. And that's going to cost you, by the way. So not only are we taxed and told what to do, I'll give you a quick example. Council tax.
Yeah.
Oh, what happens if I don't pay? You know what happens if you don't pay, sir. You'll get a summons. And what does that mean? Oh, don't be pedantic. What does that mean? A summons means an invitation, which you can decline, but you try and decline it. And then, of course, the council, our servants, you call them up. I've got the council tax bill here. Yes, sir, is there a problem? Where did I order it? Because you have to order something to get a bill, don't you?
Yep.
You didn't order it. Well, your landlord or the people who own the house gave us your number. So actually, have the people that own the house or the landlord
Broken data protection.
broken data protection and committed fraud by providing you with something which does not belong to me. Normally on the end of the phone you go, you what? Or they go, and so, I can't be forced into paying this. Well, if you don't pay it, you'll get a liability order. And does the council hire the courts with a solicitor who's not actually trained, who's on the bar council? Do they hire the courts on a Thursday private room? Yes. Am I a slave? No, sir. Then why are the council treating me like a slave? You say no to the government, and what the government say? Do as you're told. Am I a slave? No, sir. Then why are you treating me like a slave? So slavery's not been abolished, was it? Back in 1853 or whatever.
Well, no,
It's never been abolished.
forced slavery was supposed to be abolished. Voluntary slavery.
We're trying to say no, but they just use force against you, don't they?
Yes.
The KaK M Show. Drivers fuming. I know I'm in the driving seat at the moment. We both drive the car. It doesn't really matter who drives the car. But it should be bloody slaves fuming. I mean, the black people put up with it for 400 years and never said no. Well, I think a few of them must have done, but it still went on for 400 years. But it was never actually abolished. Remember that old brilliant little video that you can find on YouTube where they show the Jones plantation?
Ah, yes, yeah.
Have a look at the Jones plantation, or if you want some more work to do, put it in the description along with Kanye West. But seeing that Kanye West interview, it changed my mind about him. I thought he was a bigoted hypocrite, a little bit like Boris Johnson, though not in the same capacity. And he might actually have a point. I don't mean any offence to anybody, and I don't think he does. So if anybody is offended, I say now, you've got no say in it whatsoever, that I love you, we love you, and you've got no say in that whatsoever. Even if you like us or you don't like us, you've got no choice. You've got no say in it whatsoever. We love you. We're not fuming, because we're not going into central London.